It's Adam from the Arsenal Way here with Paul, Steve, and Ben to review the Arsenal versus Leicester game. Do you want to guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I can go first. So I'm Ben. I'm the founder of TCF Sport. Usually Stephen says that for me, but it's just us two doing TCF Sport. And yeah, so I'll pass over to my brother Stephen, as I always do.
Yeah, hello, I'm Steve. I'm just a voice on Ben's foundation of TCF Sport. Don't really know what I'm talking about half the time, but try and have a go anyway.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Paul. Very new to this, along with Adam. We started last week and enjoyed it so much we thought we'd do it again with the lovely Ben and Steve.
Ben, Steve, do you want to give a bit of background about TCF Sports?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, really, we're both like football fans. Obviously, we're Arsenal fans first, but we just absolutely love all things football. So a couple of months ago,
Other than Tottenham,
yeah, which you always give your complimentary 15 seconds to Tottenham, although we might have to give a bit more to them tomorrow after the game that we just watched. But so we just talk all things Premier League football. Great passion for Premier League football. So we set up the podcast a couple of months ago as last season was ending, really. And then each week we do a review of the weekend's action, a preview of next weekend's action. Over the summer, we've recorded some different sorts of podcasts as well. So we've done one on Gareth Southgate, done one asking if Arsene Wenger underachieved for all the Arsenal fans out there. And yeah, we've just been cracking on, and we're gonna lots of content coming up over the next few months, especially. So yeah,
I have to stay tuned on that.
The Wenger one sounds interesting. I bet
yeah,
that has a mixed bag of responses.
Yeah, because I mean, we both said not to give too much away from the actual podcast, but that like we're very complimentary of Wenger. But considering 3 league titles in 22 years, a relatively pitiful record in Europe. I mean, one Champions League final, which we should have won. That wasn't to any fault of his own. Not that I really want to talk about that final again. But yeah, we both said that he underachieved to what he could have achieved. That's not taken away from what he did achieve. But yeah.
In terms of actually winning things, wasn't it? But the foundation of building a new training ground, building the stadium, etc.
But that's why we both said
it's covered on the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why we both said he deserves a statue and probably the greatest manager in Arsenal's history. So,
yeah, fair point.
Yeah, I think with that he did so much for the club, but I think given the stature of the club, could we have won more? I think Europe's the one that's always gonna hurt until we actually get there and win it, because the squad that we had, we should have won that anyway. There's not a lot we can do about that, and I think the way that it happened is what really disappoints the fans. But we haven't.
Yeah, and just in other years as well. In other years, we could have got so much closer, because I mean, the 3 times that we won the league, the season after, we didn't really get anywhere in Europe. Obviously, we got to the final.
The unbeaten season, didn't we? We did Chelsea twice, and then they did us on the away goals at Highbury.
That was the big one.
The away goal killed us, didn't it?
Yeah, Wayne Bridge.
Out of interest, I know obviously what Ben's answer is. Would you swap the unbeaten season for a Champions League?
No.
Yes.
Oh, no. One yes, one no, 50-50.
I think we're now at the stage where we're starting to get mocked a little bit for the unbeaten seasons, like all we've got to grab onto. But you still win the league if it's unbeaten or not, although it's a great achievement. The Champions League is thrown in our face constantly.
By who? Chelsea fans?
Any football fan, even Spurs fans, although they've got no right, they still do it.
I don't know about Spurs fans. Unfortunately, we've got family that are Spurs fans, so they're just deluded, aren't they?
that can't be allowed, surely.
To use Ben's logic, you've got the Champions League every season. How often since we won it unbeaten has anyone won it unbeaten?
It's a really hard question to answer. I'll probably answer too quickly, to be fair. Wonderful achievement.
No, not at all. But it's like I say,
Champions League
before you recording, it's good to get other people's opinions, especially Arsenal fans, because I know the fan base is divided on this. Me personally, I'd have the unbeaten season all day long. But
we've both said that for the reasons that you said, that someone wins the Champions League every year. And to anyone that's sort of mocking us about the unbeaten season, to me, it's just bitter. They're just bitter that they can't do it. So,
do you think we get enough respect for going unbeaten?
Like,
Definitely don't get
especially
respect.
in recent years, people have been calling us like draw merchants, saying that points total is more important. Well, I'm sorry, if going unbeaten was that easy, then somebody else would have done it. Besides Preston back in the 1880s, whatever it was. Like
when they
people can mock it, but they can't
fixtures.
do it. Exactly, people can mock it, but they can't do it. Even City got 100 points; they still lost games.
Yeah. Yeah,
but that's a debate for a different podcast.
No, I agree.
Okay, so the game against Leicester. Did either of you go, Steve or Ben? Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't. I had to watch it on Game of the Day on Sky.
Likewise, my first game this season will be Villa on the end of August, 31st or 30th, I think it is.
I think so.
Were you two both there? Yeah, were you two both there?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately. I'd come close to getting a ticket, but missed out. The website chucked me out.
Yeah, tickets this year are crazy because we're silver members, and it's like getting in a queue for half an hour before they go on sale. It's mental.
You've got to get in early. I had difficulty for the Leicester. I did go yesterday, did get tickets, but I had such an issue with it because obviously they changed over the process, the booking portal, and had a really graphic image of the stadium. You could select your seat, whereas before you just go in and just have the dots. Actually, I had a seat, and I think when they actually rolled it out, a lot of people had issues with it. I did manage to get tickets, but how I don't know. And then every game after that has just been a nightmare. I have managed to get them, but you've got to get in the queue about 9:20, 9:25, and then if you're not in by about 10:10, you've got very little chance of actually getting a ticket.
Because even for the Villa game, like usually when I get into like the view of the Emirates Stadium with all the dots, you sort of click on them and it's quite easy to progress.
Yeah.
But clicking on the seats that are available, even those were sort of selling out so fast. I mean, it's good in that sense, but it's just a pain from previous seasons. But,
yeah. No, I struggled with Villa as well.
Demand seems higher this year, doesn't it? There's such a buzz around it.
Which is, like I say, good to see for the club. Yeah, but it's nice that, it's a point that we'll come on to, but the fans seem united. Like in recent years, the Emirates has seemed like such a toxic place because we've been so inconsistent and arguably haven't had players that sort of want to play for the shirt. Whereas now there's so much positivity. Like it's reflected in the fan base because every single fan, it seems, is 100% behind the boys. Whether they're 100% behind Arteta, that's a different question. But yeah.
And that's
a good example of that yesterday was when Saliba scored his own goal. Wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Get on his back, and then the next few times he was on the ball, they're applauding him, trying to build him back up. Which I don't think that would happen last season or even a couple of seasons before that.
Go back to Mustafi,
It probably wouldn't have happened for other players either. Even now, if Ben White had done it, he wouldn't have got that same reception. I don't think.
No,
that's a good point.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Ramsdale's reaction as well. He looked disappointed, and then within 2 seconds, he went straight over to him, tapped him on the back. He's like, it's okay, let's go.
I thought it was Ramsdale's fault. I thought his positioning was woeful for it.
Well, because I thought originally Ben White, because this is a problem I have with Ben White, from those long balls that are switched across, he doesn't win enough in the air. He had no awareness of James Justin coming in, and he needed to challenge Justin and put him off. But Ramsdale as well, because we can get into Ramsdale about the second goal as well. He should have saved that one.
You leave Rambo alone.
Someone's a fan.
Player. Yeah,
someone's a fan. I like Ramsdale, and the second goal, I think keepers are hard done by in that situation because you can't stand with your legs shut because you have to have your stance set to stop in case the ball comes across. So it was a decent finish. Gabriel didn't cover himself in the glory with it either.
No, but you still expect the keeper to save it.
You do. He'll be disappointed if that one go through him.
But it's not like he did at the Gea and threw it in the net, so we can forgive him.
I like that.
We can forgive him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can only take. As Ben and I have sort of been saying, like he actually genuinely looks annoyed every time the ball goes past him. Like it looks like he actually cares, which it haven't really had for a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just wish you'd tone it down a little bit though, because I know we've said before on our own podcast that for me is a bit too erratic. Like even for the Vardy penalty, I know he did well to stop himself, but for me, he didn't need to be coming out that far. Like Vardy wasn't going anywhere, and I know he dived and Ramsdale did well to stop himself, but still. Although having said all that about Ramsdale and having criticised him, when he can sort of ping a ball like he did to Jesus for the chance that Jesus had towards the end of the first half, like swings and roundabouts, really.
I suppose it's all part of learning as well, isn't it? He is still a young keeper.
Yeah, and you have to remember that.
Yeah.
There's far more pros to his games than cons, isn't there? It's
exactly that.
Keeper's not going to save everything that's sent in each direction either. So,
and he also, to give credit as well, he saved arguably the most important one when it was 0-0 when Fofana went through. So,
yes, he did. Yeah, it was a good save.
Yeah.
How about Gabby then? What do we all make of Gabby?
Which one?
The forward one.
City reject.
We all belong to Jesus now. We all belong to Jesus. Sorry, Jesus.
It's so refreshing to have a forward that's a threat.
Yeah.
So refreshing. He can do it all. Like you look at I think I see his statistics. He had 96 touches, something like 8 shots. And then you compare that to Haaland, who had 8 touches yesterday for City, and they absolutely dominate the ball.
Yeah.
He's an all-action forward. Like Lacazette was no threat at all, but good hold-up play, things like that. Aubameyang was great in behind, but couldn't hold the ball up. He was like Sunday League football at times with his ability with his back goal. The last forward we had like this was Sanchez. That like proper got you excited when he was on the ball and near the box, and I think it is so refreshing to have that at the club again.
Especially because, like you said, we've gone from Lacazette, who he was a good hold-up player, but I think he scored like 4 or 5 goals last season. And I mean, you compare, like since when would Lacazette do what Jesus did for the first goal? Like he scored that pretty much out of nothing, because you can tell the difference in quality. He took it early when the keeper hadn't set himself, but I mean, the second goal was just as impressive because they're both different types of finishes, like a poacher at the back post. The only bad thing yesterday was that he should have scored more. He could have had about 5. But like you said, it's nice to be genuinely excited because he's someone that you pay your ticket money to go and watch. To be genuinely excited about going to see him every week because you know he's going to be the main man.
That first goal was brilliant though, because I think if you'd look where his position was, if that had been anybody else that had been crossing it in, there's loads of traffic in there, it's probably not actually going to find its way in. But he's obviously got the confidence to try that. And I agree with, Paul, that he is very much like Sanchez as a forward, because that's the kind of shot he'd have a go for. But it's not just about tapping in the box. It's not just about, feeding the ball around. He's actually got confidence, and that was actually a really good goal.
Do you boys think he'll score 20 league goals this season?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, because we asked that question before the season started, and we both said no. Obviously, we both said he'd had a really good season. But then having seen yesterday, if we continue to create that many chances for him and he creates chances for himself, like he's going to be different class this year.
I still don't think he will, only because of the 5 subs. I think Nketiah was going to be coming on like, He'll create chances for himself and for other players when and he'll have goal involvements. But I think once the game's relatively safe, it'll be trying to give Nketiah minutes as well. Unless he uses Nketiah in the Europa League.
Well, no, it depends how far we go in the Europa League as well, how deep we go in the other competitions. Because that was another point that I wanted to make as well, that like on our bench, I mean, I can list the players: Tierney, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Holding, Tomiyasu, Pepe, Sambi Lokonga, El Neni and Turner. Like to me, they're all decent squad players. Arguably, Tierney and Tomiyasu, you two, but Tierney and Tomiyasu, arguably your 2 first choice fullbacks. But like for once in a while, instead of just having Pepe on the bench, we have more than one player to bring off the bench to make a difference and make an impact. So that was another positive that I took from yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's not even including Fabio Vieira. Exactly.
I was going to say Vieira will be joining that as well. And, I think Marquinhos, he's looking really good. I know he's playing in the, the U team, but he
scored another 2 yesterday, didn't he?
I think he's knocking on the door. I think he's
Yeah.
knocking on the door. He's not going to be staying down there long because you can already see he's a step ahead, and I think he'd be a good player to have, particularly for cup games, and as a sub as well. If we need that bit of pace and that bit of
He'll
quality, something
play
different.
Europa League, won't he?
It'll be interesting to see in the League Cup as well against sort of like lower league teams that like to put themselves about a bit if he plays him and how he does then. Because it's probably more the physicality, isn't it? That's why it's in the under-21s for the time being, other than it being young and coming
And just
to a
the
new
fact
country.
that he needs to settle, because obviously it took Martinelli a little while as well, I guess. But.
Well, at one point, you and I discussed it, weren't we? Like it looked like he didn't really fancy Martinelli, and now he's made that position his own, I think, hasn't he?
But I mean, is that credit Arteta? Because I think the majority of the fan base was like sort of challenging him, where's Martinelli? And Arteta said, just wait, give him a few more months, give him however long he gave him. And now obviously he is first choice in that position, and rightfully so. So maybe credit Arteta there as well. He obviously knew something behind the scenes.
Credit the fan base putting the pressure on him.
Fair enough.
Just like Spurs put the pressure on.
It's starting to scare me how wrong I am about Arteta over things. Everything he's proven me wrong on. I was one of those ones getting on his back about Martinelli. I didn't agree with Saliba going out on loan last year, amongst other things, and he's getting it all right. I can't.
Well, I mean, that's another question.
Humble enough about it.
That's another question, because obviously I said at the start, like, of the majority of the fan base behind Arteta, are you two Arteta in as well? If there is even that debate anymore.
I am, because it means that Arsenal are doing well.
Yeah.
But he has also got no more excuses.
No, I completely agree.
He's been completely backed by the club. You look at Ten Hag at United, he's been hung out to dry with a club that's got more resource than us and things like that. So he's been completely backed. He's been able to make all of his own decisions. Even with the documentary, you see the club were in two minds about backing him over Aubameyang, but they did it.
Yep.
And he's made a lot of mistakes, less so last season. But he's no longer a manager that's learning from me. He has to have learned, and this is the year he has to deliver. And if we're struggling by Christmas, then he's got to go.
No,
I think. What do you think is delivering as far as you're concerned? Finishing top four or winning a trophy, or
we definitely have to be in the mix for third this season.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that we can all agree Liverpool and City are a bridge too far probably for this year. But if we're in sixth and 8 points behind fourth, which is feasible, then that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Especially with United being out of the question.
Is that with an injury-free squad? I'll take it.
Well, you judge it on circumstances as they arise, I guess. But
yeah, we have strength and depth now, like we said. So I mean, he doesn't really have any excuses.
I expect two more players to come through the door as well, so he'll have another two to add to his roster. So he really will have no excuse.
It's his squad now as well. You had to give him the first couple of seasons to get out, the players that he doesn't want in the team, the ones that aren't good enough, and bring in his own team. And now he has got his own team. That is his team. But I think he has to do it this season, whether that be win a trophy or get us into, I agree with Paul, it has to be the top three. If we actually want to be up with City and Liverpool, and that's the kind of message that I'm getting from Arteta and the owners and Edu as well, when they're speaking about they want to be up there challenging for the top titles. We don't just want an FA Cup. We don't want a league, a League Cup. We want the actual Premier League or European. That's the level that Liverpool and City demand of themselves. And if we want to be in with that, and we don't want to be this banter club or this joke club, then we have to be finishing third and above.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround is, exactly. Well, we've discussed it before, haven't we? Like, where sort of Paul was the caveat, and really you should be sort of challenging. But I mean, the turnaround he's had over the last 2.5 seasons. You look at the players he had to get rid of, and the money he's had to sort of try and save with players on big money. It's quite quick, really. 2.5 seasons. You look at his first team squads when he first took over to the squad now.
Yeah,
it's day and night, isn't it?
We've actually got a squad as well.
A lot of credit. Yeah, that's where he does deserve a lot of credit, to get rid of players like Willian, Socrates, Mustafi, we laughed at earlier, just a lot of the deadwood. And
Yeah.
because I mean, we've talked about United before, and it seems like United are about 3 to 5 years behind where we are in terms of getting rid of those players. And now he does generally seem to have a squad that he wants. It's really where he sort of needs to deliver.
And it's a squad as well. Whereas before, for as long as I can remember, we've always had, apart from obviously the Invincibles, we've always had that one player. So obviously it was Van Persie, then Aubameyang, Ozil, Alexis. Whereas now there's key players, there's key quality players, but every player actually on the pitch is a quality. If you look at the starting 11, I think all of them are quality.
We've got a spine as well, haven't we? If you're looking
Yeah.
down, Jesus, Odegaard, Saliba, if you're saying is your top centre half, and the goalkeeper, Partey as well. Yeah. So hopefully, it should mean good things, really, shouldn't it?
He has got no excuses now. That's how I look at it. I think if we finish 5th, it just depends what all the other teams are doing, because obviously I've been watching this weekend. I didn't think Tottenham were that good today. I thought Chelsea really didn't take the chances. That's not being biased. That's just, they embarrassed them in the first half. United just...
Or was it Havertz that had the chance, I think, when I was 1-1?
Yeah.
And he missed it from 3 yards out. Like, he should have been burying that, shouldn't he?
And then Sterling
That was poor.
Sterling missed as well. So,
I thought Sterling was poor today. Sterling was poor.
That's why he always used to get subbed at City. He's gone there for more minutes, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't rate Sterling. I know he's got good stats and good goal scoring record and that, but look who he's played for. Literally piggybacking off a City, tapping in at the far post. He doesn't create anything. He doesn't do anything.
Because every time he had the ball today, where he was, I mean, it's quite a few scenarios where he's 1v1, whether against Romero or whoever the right one back, Emerson Royale. He didn't beat him once. Didn't go past him once. Like,
no,
he seems to stall. It seems to stall when he's actually when he's got that, chance to go forward. I don't know if it's confidence with him or he's just doubting the fact that he can beat the player, but he gets to like a threat and then he just like fizzles. It's for an experienced player. I
don't think he has it in his locker to sort of go past someone, which is a mad thing to say for 26-year-old England international, but just the way it seemed today, because he didn't do it once. To me, he's playing like on the shoulder of the last defender, like he did at City, with De Bruyne feeding him through, or for the cutbacks, like you said. But Chelsea, when they're playing Jorginho and Kante, they don't have that player that will slip those balls through to Sterling.
Kante was brilliant today. I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you and me both. Although he went off injured as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that's where his career is at now, isn't it? He's picking up a lot of injuries, unfortunately for him. Great for us, but
it makes Chelsea weak, doesn't it?
Exactly. Like Adam said, he was fantastic for them today. Really stood out. They'll be gutted about that. So, what was it like yesterday, then, Ed, as you was the only one there?
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So as soon as I went in, I was in the clock end upper. Usually I'm in the lower. Fans were absolutely buzzing all around block 25, as it usually is. Just you can really feel it, and I think obviously you guys have been last season, but towards like the last part of last season, there's just this energy. There is just this energy there, and like even when we conceded, own goal, nobody's happy about it. Everybody's disappointed, but the reaction, obviously for Saliba, the reaction when we went, when they got a second one as well. And I think the team really deserve a lot of credit for, as soon as we conceded, they went and got another one within minutes, whereas in previous seasons, we've seen it happen. They pull level or they get one back and then the pressure's on and everybody's too worried to do anything. But they were aggressive with it. They went and got that, that lead again. But it was brilliant. It was really brilliant. So I am excited for this season. I hope the hope doesn't kill me once again. But it was really good.
2 games in, and usually in the past seasons the hope has already died. So now it's actually like quite a nice positive that once we're unbeaten, 100% record, even if it is only 2 games.
Well, what you said there, which was good as well, wasn't it? Like when they scored, it wasn't heads dropped and fans got on their backs. I know we covered it at Saliba a little bit, but it was like, oh, you've scored, right? We're going to go score again. We'll have that cushion again.
Yeah.
If you think you're getting back into it, you're not having it today. That was refreshing as well. Like we haven't
Especially-
seen that from an Arsenal team for I can't remember how long now.
Especially because in previous seasons, if we conceded, like the fans would have got nervous and players would have got nervous, but it was just a different mentality, a different mindset.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
I was going to say, play devil with that a little bit. It'll be interesting, like if it was City or Liverpool,
Yeah.
like how they react to that. But if the fans were to continue in that vein, then, like you say, I think it sort of spills over onto the pitch. But
I think now, just as fans, no matter what's happening, we've got to get behind the team because we've shown, obviously, I think we've all seen the documentary or up to date on that, but you know, we are a massive part of the progress for this team. Because I mean, if you go to work and you do your job and you've got somebody constantly, oh, you know, you've done everything you do, they complain about it is. I know they're paid to do it. I know they're paid a lot of money, but it is still a job. And if we can get behind them, regardless of what's happening, that'll give them confidence. You see it with Liverpool, you know, they can see the goal, but their fans, especially at home, they always get behind the team. And I think that's what makes Liverpool, you know, the team that they are. The fans are a massive part of it. So if we can build that, particularly at the Emirates, I mean, the away fans are incredible. We all know about our away fans. We can hear them, you know, through the TV if we don't go. But we've got to stop complaining. We've just, if we're paying good money to go and see it, we need to stop complaining. Just get behind the team. If they're playing well and we lose, we just have to accept that teams play well and they lose, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
But as long as
Absolutely,
they're turning
yeah.
up, we really need to start backing them, because if they're turning up and, you know, they are playing well, if it's entertaining football, we can't, you know, we've got to stop being this toxic, you know, this toxic fan base that we've learned to associate with, in a sense. Or anytime something happens, we're literally whinging at the tiniest thing. But I think it is changing. I think the mentality is changing with the team. I think the culture is changing. The fans and the players are closer than ever, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
come back to the same point of, like, if the lads on the pitch just show that they care and show that they have the same passion for the shirt that every single person in the Emirates Stadium does, there won't be a problem with that. Because for the first time in years, it looks like every single player wants to be there. Everyone's together, as you said. So to me, like, there won't be any more toxicity unless something drastic happens and we sort of nosedive. But I don't see that happening either.
I mean, sometimes you can play well and lose, can't you? As long as you, like you say, as long as you've played well and given it a go, right? Sometimes it is a little bit of luck, isn't it? And
like City at home last year. Yeah,
exactly. Turned up, played well, and lost. Like,
yeah,
and you can take that because you're not gonna win every week. You're not gonna get draws, and you are gonna have some bad decisions go against you from time to time. It's just about taking that, isn't it?
Yep.
And just going, oh well. Sometimes it's building momentum and just getting on a bit, going well onto the next one. Also, though, not panicking. If we do have a couple of losses in a row, that can quite easily happen. Just not panicking and remembering, you know, that as long as, like I say, they've put the effort in and the style of play, and you know the effort's still there. As long as that's still there, then you'll be all right. It's when players don't look bothered and they're not really sort of trying, or you know, they don't look like they care about what's going on. That's when you're worried. But I don't think, having seen sort of some of the documentary, that Arteta's going to stand for that, which is refreshing, really.
I think it's about just looking forward to the next game as well. You know, just let it go. You can't change anything that's happened. If you've lost the game, you've lost the game. Just make the change that you need to for the next game. If a mistake's been made that's led to a goal or that's led to the result, then just learn from that and change that, and then just forget about it and move to the next one, because it's points. As you know, we need those points, and if we let it, you know, go on to the next game and the next game, those 3 points can turn into 9 points, and then that's when things can start to change again.
Well, we touched on it last week, didn't we, Adam, about how likeable the team is now.
Yeah.
In comparison to 3 or 4 seasons where there was at least 50% of them you wanted to see them out the club.
Yeah.
Now I genuinely feel like if any of them left, you'd be a little bit gutted. You'd want to wish them well, and you'd be a little bit gutted to see the back of them. Even people like Pepe, who don't really get much of a look in, I wouldn't necessarily want to see him leave.
No, though part of me is surprised that he's still there, to be fair, especially if because we're in the market for like another winger. And I thought this summer we would have tried to shift him on. Not saying I want him shifted on or not, but
I think we'll see him leave in January, and it will be used in the Europa League games and League Cup before then. Just because there's so many fixtures.
Yeah, it'll be good to
get through.
It'll be good to have.
He's more than capable of playing.
I'd like to see him give Arteta a headache personally. If he is going to be using those fixtures, that's where, for me, you're a professional footballer, you sort of go, well, this is what I'm capable of. Play well. I should be in your first team for the league at the weekend.
Yeah, but I've said this to you before. This is like one of the gripes that I've had with Arteta, especially last season. Last year at home against Wolves, last season at home against Wolves, Pepe came off the bench, set up Nketiah, scored when Nketiah set him up and set up Lacazette for the winner. Yeah. And in the next game, he didn't get a chance, didn't get a look in. Like, to me, what more can he do?
I think it's difficult.
Do it on a more regular basis.
Yeah, he's not